kicked around by my own choices. Not a young man, but that's just an excuse. Say what you like, I know my own mind. It's clear to me that ain't nothing clear to me. Say what you like, I know my own mind. It's clear to me that ain't nothing clear to me. Yep, I could just brush it all off. I could ignore it, imagine I'm someplace else. But what could that do? Always bigger, always better, more, bring it. Do you feel it? I'm in a rush, a wave of energy, time to make a move. I won't let you stand alone, will you stand with me? I stand with you, stand with me, we'll make it all work. It's no one way or the other, time to play or straight, we get it off back away. I'm not a hero, just a man with honor. I know the difference between right and wrong. I choose the right, I choose to stand. I'll hold this ground for you, just be willing to stand next to me. We all feel it, we all know it, the choice is always yours. Stand with me. Time to make a move. I won't let you stand alone. Will you stand with me? Always bigger, always better, more. Bring it. Do you feel it? I'm in a rush, a wave of energy. Time to make a move. I won't let you stand alone. Will you stand with me? Stand with me. Is there an edge, or is this always how it feels? Is there more, or do we end it here? I have your back, let's make this happen. Defend what right, and ignore the rest. Stand with me. Hells yeah. Always bigger, always better, more. We are. Do you feel it? I'm in a rush, a wave of energy, time to make a move. I won't let you stand alone, will you stand with me? I'm not a hero, just a man with honor. I know the difference between right and wrong. I choose the right, I choose to stand. I hold this ground for you, just be willing to stand next to me. We all feel it, we all know it, the choice is always yours. Stand with me, with me. We always bigger, always better, more. Bring it! Do you feel it? I'm a rush, a wave of energy, time to make a move. I won't let you stand alone. Will you stand with me? Stand with me. Hells yeah! Stand with me. You play
From the hilt cautions that mature content may ensue during this video that includes foul language, possible adult situations, violent implications, and perhaps a little something something. Wink wink. Nudge nudge. A little racy even. Keep in mind that it's all in good fun. Now that we've gotten all prim and proper, please enjoy the show.
Greetings, I'm Logan the G.I. Joe Gamer. Tonight we're looking at 4 really cool Joes. Hello, Kenneth Bird. We got a bunch of friends in the chat. So I was going to start with this here.
Yo, Joe, Sith Lordly.
I've got another one. Let's check this one out.
Hey, Victor. What's up, bro?
All right. Plus, we have a few others in the chat. We got Ronnie Trickshot. How you doing, Ronnie? Glad you decided to hang out with us tonight. And then, of course, we have Kenneth Bird. It's good to see you, bud. And the Tiger. Always got to say hello to my wife, the Tiger. So, hope everybody is ready for some Joe takes tonight. Because, like I said, I have 4 of them. We've got Roadblock. We've got Sergeant Slaughter, Snake Eyes, and Breaker with the Ram cycle. So, let's have some fun with that. I'm going to start playing them right away. When I'm on, from this point on, when I'm on the screen, I won't be live. I will be live in the chat, however, so I hope you enjoy these classic episodes of my Joe Takes, and Victor's saying cool. Joe Takes have found a permanent home, I think, here on Thursday nights and later. The later format seems to work better. Let me know if you guys agree with that. You need to still unbox 95% of your classifieds. Wow, dude. Yeah, most of mine are all out. Some of them are in a bin, but I get what you mean. All my vehicles are in bins in my storage unit, so I'm right there with you on that. But let's kick this off with some Roadblocks. So I'm going to put this up on the screen, and I will take myself out of there and just put that up there. And I'll pull myself out of here in just a second after I get this started. But let's check out Roadblock from the hilt. Let me see if I can speed that up a little too much. There we go. All right, let's go. Greetings, I'm Logan, the G.I. Joe Gamer, and welcome to Joe Takes 28. Tonight, Roadblock from the hilt. This has been a long time coming. I've been really wanting to take a look at this figure. He is not just in my top 10, but he's in my top 5. He is my 4th favorite Joe. Only the ones I like better than him are Snake Eyes, Airtight, and Beachhead. So, and Airtight's my favorite, but I switch back and forth on Beachhead and Snake Eyes sometimes. But Roadblock's a really cool dude, and I've been wanting to talk about him for a bit. And of course, we had to do that. Anyway, we'll start by looking at the figure, the original vintage figure. Now, I used to have all of them, all the vintage figures, the Tiger Force and the 1986 Roadblock, but I used the 1986 Roadblock to fix my Alpine. Just what we did back then was we took parts from other Joes to fix other ones because I had my Tiger Force Roadblock, so I wasn't really fond of the original 1986 Roadblock. For whatever reason at the time, I like the aesthetic now. It didn't really compared to the original. After a while, I acquired the original, and actually have 2. I guess he's with my doubles, but I do have a second one. But my nicest one is here, and we'll take a look at that. And then there was a 1993 Roadblock, and I do have that one to look at. So as to what happened to my Tiger Force Roadblock, I'm not really sure. Probably ended up being parts for other Joes. But here's my 1984 Roadblock, the original. Now, I did have his accessory. Well, I had accessories for him from an accessory pack. So I did have a Browning 50 caliber for him with backpack and all the accessories, My accessory pack version of that, however, the backpack, the peg broke off, and I really don't know what happened to the actual gun, but it wasn't really the original uh, Deuce, as they call it. So I didn't bother going to look for it because it wasn't the one that is for this particular figure. Now, most people display Roadblock without the helmet, and I generally do too. But he did come with a green helmet, and I like that look for him as well. I mean, Roadblock is generally, without a helmet, but that's okay. And, he's got the knife on the right hand side, and a pistol, a sidearm, and a pistol in the holster on the left. So that insinuated that Roadblock was left-handed, even though they showed him in art wielding the Deuce with his right hand. Now, the one that came out in '86 came with a really big gun. I still have that gun, but it doesn't really fit with the original. And the 1993 Roadblock was pretty cool. And then they had another version of this painted, I think, that they brought out in '94. This actually might be the second version of it. I'm not really sure. It wasn't that big a deal to me. I like this one better, so that's why I chose this one over the other one. I just like the colors of this one better. The accessories tree he came with a shockwave pistol and a hit and run machine gun. In black though for the pistol, I like that, but it doesn't really fit Roadblock. They did have him come with a big rifle, but it's a sniper rifle, and it's like, why do they have Roadblock come with a sniper rifle? It's kind of weird, but I have no doubts that Roadblock could wield a sniper rifle and operate it, successfully and actually use it to snipe, but it's just not Roadblock's thing. He's a heavy machine gunner. Now, I actually do have some carded figures to look at this week. Now, as a stand-in for the 1986 figure, I do have the modern version of Roadblock, the 25th anniversary. Well, in that outfit and in that art style. Yeah, like I said, it came with this big old gun, and they updated it really nicely for the 25th anniversary. It's really cool. And then, of course, we got the file card, and let me get a better look at that. Now, for some reason, when they did the 25th anniversary, they went back to the original ranks, and he was still an E4 with that outfit. I don't know why. They always portrayed Roadblock as being a higher ranking sergeant, except when he was first in the Joes. But in the comic books, he was always portrayed as a higher ranking sergeant. I also have the Walmart exclusive retro line Roadblock, which turned out to be really good. Now, a lot of people don't like this green flak jacket. I do have one out of the package as well. But you can take that flak jacket off, that web gear, and he looks a lot like the original Roadblock underneath. And so it does match with the artwork that they gave him. Now, he did come with a Browning 50 caliber, but it comes apart and you have to assemble it. For whatever reason, mine never stayed together very well. I don't know about the one in the package, but the one I have out of the package. And so I just put it in the bag and left it there because it never really would display very well. And then, of course, they have the crappy retro file card with all the multiple languages on it. That's just how it is. Now, in the retro line, they did that's what they did for that. But in the classified line, they came out with a really good Roadblock to start. He was #1 in the series. Now, of course, this was after they had the special edition Snake Eyes, the 00 figure, which I don't have, unfortunately. But the box art for him was pretty cool. I know a lot of people were looking for the original, but I do like this box art. For some reason, they put him in shade, but they didn't have sunglasses for him. It was really weird. And I don't know what I got going on here. Maybe a spider. It's a spider. My friend Paul is 619. He got a package and there was a spider in it on live TV. It was live YouTube, so and now it's happened to me. So Paul, don't feel so bad. It happens to all of us sometimes, I guess. Anyway, he was number one, and this is pretty cool box art. At the end of the episode, I'll have a video that has the artwork a bit more clearly. They put out a Cobra Island figure. Now, he came with the same gun as the first version of the classified series, called the Broiler, and this one was a nicer color. I like the black way better, but the grip handle on the side on mine immediately snapped off. So I glued it back together, and it's on there, but it won't stay. I can't get it to stay with any kind of glue I use. And he was number 11 in the series, so he's 1 and 11. And then the artwork I really liked, and he did come with a pair of sunglasses, some shades. And so we'll be taking a look at him in just a bit. Of course, number 11 at the top too. Now, of course, eventually they finally did come out with a more traditional looking Roadblock, which I ended up acquiring as number 28 in the series. Show the top of the box too. And then we'll get to the box art here. I really like this box art. It was probably some of the best box art they had for the classified series Roadblock. Pretty good. Now, the gun he came with, though, was the one that he came with Breaker and the Ram. And the reason why I have these out is it's the same gun, and this comes out of the sidecar. The reason why I have this Breaker out is because I'm going to be reviewing him in just 2 weeks. At the end of the month here, it's going to be my 4th figure this month, and episode Joe Takes 31. So that brings us to the actual classified figures. And this broiler gun I like it. Now, a lot of people generally have Roadblock gripping the gun with this other handle at the back. And yeah, I've done that too. But I really think he looks better holding it like this. It looks like he has more control over it than at the back, and with it flailing around. It looks like he has a better grip on it for here. Now, this was more like the 1986 version in a lot of ways, and so we can compare those up. Yeah, the green vest and the massive big gun, and so on the back we have this. But anyway, it was very similar. The pants were darker brown, and I actually like this. The colors on this one a lot better. A lot of people hate on the gold. Doesn't bother me. I mean, it's not very tactical, but it looks nice as when you display the figure. So I don't have an issue with it. I wish he came with a sidearm. That was my only issue with this particular figure. He did come with a knife, and that slides right in right there. So pretty cool figure all in all. It's what got me to start collecting. It was ironically, it's the first one I got in the series, number 1. And then I picked up a Scarlet, and I was posing them and messing around with them, and ended up putting Scarlet on his back like he was carrying her on his shoulders. And I was like, okay, I'm done. These declassified figures, they pose better, they're cooler, and I just started buying classified. And that started my classified collection. Now, this Tiger Force, I almost said Tiger Force, this Cobra Island Roadblock, which Target exclusive, Tiger Force, Python Patrol, Cobra Island. To me, it's all pretty much the same line. It's the Target exclusive. Now, this would have been a lot cooler in Tiger Force colors, I think, but I do love the subdued black and gray. Well, I think those are like dark tan pants. And he came with the same pack that honed in on the leg there, or very similar at least. These look like maybe flash grenades or even smoke grenades, stun grenades maybe. But I thought the shirt was pretty cool, and it was basically the same figure, just with a different head sculpt. Now, I haven't posed with hold his sunglasses, but I want to take these off for a bit so you get a better look at him. Now, for some reason, he went with the thicker, way full beard. I don't have a problem with that. I can't imagine anybody thinking that I would, but it's just messing. But no, this is. I thought this was a neat figure. A lot of people say this is their heavy duty. I don't see this as heavy duty. I mean, you could use him for heavy duty, but it's another Roadblock figure. I like it. And these sunglasses were pretty cool. Kind of reminded me of the sunglasses and shades that Blade wore in the movie when Wesley Snipes played Blade. I just watched that movie recently, so probably what I'm thinking about it. And it has these little slots here, and I always miss the one on the right side. It just doesn't want to go in there properly. But it's there, and if you get it in there, it looks pretty cool on him. It's with his comm gear right there. That's pretty cool. His communications. And he has stuff on his gauntlets there, which I thought was pretty neat. And basically, like I said, it's the same lower half, just repainted. I mean, it was a good figure. I don't see why there was a problem with reusing it. Now, a lot of people call this guy a peg warmer. Could be, but I liked it. It took me a long time to get that one because I believed the hype, you know. And then I finally picked it up, and I'm like, it's a pretty cool figure. I like Roadblock, so maybe I'm biased. Now, the heavy artillery Roadblock. I just wanted to make sure I said that right. Has been the best so far of the Roadblocks. Definitely matched up more towards the original. Not super hip on the helmet. I mean, it's just a generic G.I. Joe helmet, and I don't have a problem with it. But I prefer the bald look for Roadblock. Like I said, it came with the same Gatling gun that the Ram Cycle came with. It spins. This section of the gun actually comes off. I just have to remember which way it comes off. Oh, it comes towards the front. And it's basically this big old barrel, and all the ammo and the ordnance goes in there. And it just slides right back in there, snaps into place. And he actually poses with this really well. Now, he came with a sidearm. Now, like on the original, so I was going to bring these up and compare them. On the original, he had the sidearm on the left, but here he's got it on the right. Now, the one thing he didn't come with was a combat knife. So they got one with a combat knife, one without either a sidearm or a combat knife, and then one with a sidearm. So, you know, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You could probably outfit him with the other Roadblock's combat knife if you really wanted to. But, you know, with this firepower, is he really going to end up using a combat knife? He might. I mean, when we get talking about the cartoon and the comic books, there were some instances where he used a knife. So, who knows? I do like the web gear on it. It definitely matches up to the original. The pant color I actually like better on the new one, on the classified, but, you know, they definitely had more colors to work with. So you got your vintage and your classified, and they actually match up pretty well together, I thought. I don't know why they just couldn't give him a combat knife on the leg, just like they did on the original, but they didn't. They chose not to. For whatever reason, we don't know why they make some of the decisions they make. And I know that there's companies out there on websites that sell accessories for the G.I. Joe classified. Get this helmet back on him, and we'll take another look at him right here at the end of this when I finish up here. But I thought Roadblock is a very cool figure. Always been one of my favorite characters. Now, we'll take a look at some of the comics. I'm going to save my favorite one for last to have on display over there. And not necessarily my favorite cover, but my favorite storyline. Now, Roadblock isn't on the cover of his first appearance, but he first appeared in issue 22, which was the funeral for General Flagg. Him and Duke showed up at the end. And shot down a Rattler with basically Roadblock shot it down with his Deuce. And I have that with issue 21, the silent issue. Now, there are so many Roadblock covers in the original Marvel run of G.I. Joe that Larry Hama wrote. Larry Hama obviously loves this character. In the IDW run that he did with issue 156 to 300, there was an instance where he portrayed Roadblock as the most honorable Joe, which I thought was really neat. I love this cover. I probably showed it off before, but it's a really good Roadblock cover. Second appearance of Roadblock, very next issue that he was in. We saw the cover. And then issue 24, again, back to back. He was right there, front and center, tackling Storm Shadow. He actually whooped Storm Shadow's ass in this issue. I'm sure that Storm Shadow could kill him, but in a straight up fight, probably not. Roadblock's just a powerhouse. Now, there are other covers that he's on, like I said, but I'm just going to show a bunch of the ones that I really like. I really enjoy this one. Plus, it has a 0 in it. I love those 40s and 50s, those numbers. Now, all of these, that was the only one that he was on right next to each other, back to back, in issues. But I do like this cover right here. Very, very cool. I mean, that's Roadblock right there with his Deuce. I'm getting a lot of notifications right now, naturally. But that's the joys of live streaming. But it gives me an opportunity to show this off. Now, I might show some of the ones on the back. These are really good covers, but Roadblock's that's Gun Stalker. On the back of this one's the Unmaskings. Talking 56, and then 55, and then 56. In that order. These are going in the right direction. So when I put them back, they'll all go back real easy. Now, then they had the Cobra Civil War, which this was pretty much after. Roadblock kind of was the main character of that storyline right after the Cobra Civil War. It's really neat. This was like the last issue of it, and it was just like they just posed for the cover kind of thing. It was really neat, but the action was pretty much going to that, and then of course you got all the issue before that. It was the actual end of the Cobra Civil War with the Baroness on his tank. Love this cover. So that, and just to show you how many you started at issue 22. Here we are in issue 105, and Roadblock's right there front and center of the cover. Now, just like in the animated movie, where they had Roadblock get blinded for for touching a no-no spot. But they blinded him in this little saga with him of the October Guard. That's Dana there and Dragunsky and Sergeant Nisha from the October Guard. They were kind of the original October Guard's replacements with Dana and Dragunsky. Those were the only two older members that had survived in the comics. Of course, then we have that's 105, and at 106 we got the Major Blood with Snake Eyes in his sights. Good saga, good storyline going on there. And then I don't have. There were some other ones in between, but they weren't really good Roadblock appearances on the cover. I like them, but to me they're just not as dynamic as some of these. Now I wanted to show this one because this is when he was with Star Brigade, and so they got a really good shot of him in his spacesuit there. I thought that was kind of neat. I'm not a big Star Brigade guy, but Roadblock. Just imagine a Roadblock as an astronaut with the big ass machine gun firing in outer space. I mean, I know it's not very practical because it's hard to fire a gun in outer space. Maybe lasers, but of course, this is the issue before it. Anything with Cobra Commander on, I really like too. So, let me see here. Right near the end of the series, which ended on 155. Well, here's 153. That was they did these like backstories for like Scarlet. Then they did one with Roadblock kind of on vacation. It's kind of neat. And I think this is one of the few that wasn't written by Larry Hollow. But it was still a fun issue. And I don't know who the girl is, but it wasn't Scarlet. or any of the other female Joes. But that's definitely Roadblock there. This was basically a Roadblock solo issue. Really fun read. Now, on the very last issue, Roadblock was there with and I've got 2 copies of the last issue, and he's just right there where they're folding up the flag and closing the pit, which is kind of how they ended the series. But then they just started it back up again. Larry Hama has a way of just starting the action back up again. Now, the reason why this one's over here is because, like I said, this is my favorite story with Roadblock in the comics. What had happened was after the Cobra Civil War, the generals who had ordered them to go decided they were going to blame Hawk and his immediate superior for the incident. They were basically getting in trouble, and so basically Hawk and for the life of me, I can't remember the other general's name because it wasn't General Austin or the other one. It wasn't Hollingsworth or Austin. So it was an African American general, and it was a really cool general. And him and Hawk were taken into captivity, and Roadblock happened to be with them. And basically, they kind of asked Roadblock to go reassemble the Joes and rescue them, but they couldn't actually order him to do it. So he volunteered and went and reassembled the Joe team and saved Hawk. It was awesome. Very, very cool storyline. Of course, the one before that, right before that is the one I showed off a little while ago with Lady Jane Zarata fighting it out. So Zarata was last week's Joe takes, so I'd show that a bit. Now, takes us to the cartoon, the Sunbow animated series, and the Deke series. Roadblock in this particular figure was in the Deke series for a few episodes. I don't really remember. He was just kind of there. Now, the Sunbow series is way different. Roadblock started out in Revenge of Cobra. He was one of the prominent characters throughout the entire 5-part miniseries. Some of my favorite moments in that movie are with Roadblock. I love the way he rhymed when he spoke. Roadblock was just a really dynamic character. Now, in Revenge of Cobra, Roadblock, when they first got trapped in this canyon, when they got the Weather Dominator to knock their jets out of the sky, him, Flint, and Mutt were trapped in this canyon, and they built. They put together from the Sky Striker parts a little makeshift helicopter and flew it out of the canyon. But Roadblock was too heavy for it, and so he just said, "Don't worry about me. I'll fight my way out." And he jumped down and he pulled out his combat knife and started fighting these creeper vines that were trying to strangle him. And he basically fought them off all night by himself. I mean, Roadblock was the man, dude, and he ended up going and saving ended up going to Cobra Temple and getting captured, but he ended up in the long run saving Duke and Snake Eyes and a gal named Honolulu West, who Cobra had taken over her shipping company and all her trucks and all her supplies and goods, and they were basically taking them to the Cobra Temple in the middle of the desert, and he made friends with Honolulu West. Now, in my headcanon, him and Honolulu West actually started a catering company together. She supplied all the stuff, and then he was the chef. While they were on hiatus, the Joe team. Pyramid of Darkness, he was in a bit. In the first season of the Sunbow series, however, Roadblock, man, he was in a very lot amount of episodes. That's not the right wording for that. He was in a lot of episodes. Let's put it that way. Now, the one that really stands out from season 1, I mean, like I said, he was in a lot of them, and he had really good parts. And I love his interaction with Tomax and Zaymon in a lot of them. I talked about Money to Burn, and tonight I watched. Which one did I watch today? It was Cobra Soundwaves, and him, Gung Ho, and Ace got shot down. Another incident where they got shot down, but Roadblock's not a pilot, so. But Ace got shot down too. But it was with this sonic device that shook their planes apart. Cobra actually had a decent plan. I mean, it went awry, but that's the way it normally happens in the cartoon. Roadblock was really cool in that, but his standout episode of the first season was Rocket's Red Flare, where he went and his aunt and uncle had a restaurant, and Cobra was trying to buy the restaurant back because all the rockets on the franchises of this particular Red Rocket Drive-In were real rockets that Cobra was going to use to destroy a bunch of cities, and so that was a neat episode. And Roadblock, no one makes my Aunt Sarah cry. Very very loyal soldier, very all around cool guy. Cartoon, comic book. Roadblock was the guy, man. He was your go-to. He was definitely the man who you wanted behind you with one of those big guns that covered your back, covered your six, as it were. Now in season 2, I also watched tonight Raise the Flag, which was kind of a continuation of Computer Complications where the flag got sank. And Cobra tried to raise it back up because there was an antimatter pod on the flag that Cobra had taken originally. It was kind of weird. It was the Joes were trying to stop them from taking it, and Roadblock, Leatherneck, and Wetsuit got trapped down below on the sunken flag with Zartan, Xandar, and Zarana, and they got captured, all 6 of them, by a crazy ex-Cobra Viper in a Cobra Trooper suit, but he called himself a Cobra Viper, and a bunch of bats that he had reprogrammed to help him survive underwater all that time in the sunken pit. He actually set up the antimatter pod, was generating air by growing algae. It was kind of a neat setup. Very interesting episode. So if you haven't seen it, Raise the Flag. It's a great second season episode. Second season, not as I don't really love it as much as I do the first one. But I still like it. But there are some standout episodes in season 2 that I really, really love, and Raise the Flag is one of them. So as far as the cartoon is concerned, that's Roadblock. So that takes us to my headcanon. Where do I see Roadblock? Well, I don't see him as a platoon sergeant per se, but he's definitely a team member. He can take charge. Rank-wise, he started out as an E4, which is a corporal or a specialist, and he never got promoted. Well, I think he did it for the Tiger Force. I think that was an E5, and I have those file cards on the video here that I'm going to play in just a minute. But and then he got promoted to E6 for this figure. I'm pretty sure it was E6 for this figure. And then later on, they showed him as an E7. Of course, in the movie, they made him a command sergeant major. Depends on where you want to put him. I'm of the opinion that he's been in G.I. Joe long enough that he's at least a master sergeant. He can take charge of a unit if he wants to, but he generally doesn't. He's more of a team player and not necessarily a leader. I mean, I know they made him a leader because The Rock played him in G.I. Joe Retaliation. I don't really see him in that role. I see him as he was in the comics or in the cartoon. He's your dependable team member. Now, yes, he can take charge. Yes, he has taken charge, like he did in this, where the Cobra Civil War, he took charge of all the Joes that were not rounded up and arrested and busted a hawk, and I think they called him Hollingsworth. Maybe. I'd have to look that up, but I probably could, but you know what? Let's do that. It's not like we're doing anything special. Besides, next week is Veterans Day, and so I kind of wanted to do a lot of cool stuff for all my G.I. Joe videos this month, all my Joe takes. So I'll be talking about that here in just a bit before I play the video and what's coming up for the rest of the month. But let me see what we got here. Looking through here, we got General Malthus was the bad guy, working with I think a Senator Hegel, H-E-G-E-L or Hegel. Larry Hama had a nice way of using various names, coming up with some pretty cool names. As an author myself, I like to come up with some neat names. And they ended up getting Dr. Adele Burkhardt from the very first issue to help them rescue Hawk, and I'm pretty sure it was Hollingsworth. But Hollingsworth in the comics, I've seen him as both African American and American mutt, white guy. But they're just a couple of tough old soldiers, man. Not really cooperating. And there is a scene in here I know where Dr. Burkhardt comes out and says who she names the generals by name, and says she's there to see about their well-being because she's an activist and all that. And they try to say, oh, they've obviously taken Dr. Burkhardt captive and all this crap. So trying to cover it up. Of course, they had Storm Shadow Billy and the Jinx busted in to help rescue Hawk. And I would have to really read through this to see where it is. But like I said, there is a scene where she comes in and she announces her presence. She says, I demand to see Hawk and Hollingsworth. So I was right. It was General Hollingsworth. So I don't know. It's just comic writing. Sometimes they miscolored characters. No pun intended. I actually liked him as an African American, so I prefer it that way myself. But who knows whether there was a mistake or not? Now, I have him in one of my fire teams. I'm pretty sure he's in Fire Team Alpha. And I have all my fire teams up to Fire Team Echo, which I'm building the military action game, which will be coming up session 2. It's going to be on the 27th, I'm pretty sure. That's a Monday night at 5 o'clock. And yeah, that's the 27th. On my schedule there. Now we'll take another look at Roadblock before I play the video and sign off. And we'll talk a little bit about what's coming up this month. Next week, the video is probably already posted on Joe Takes 29 for Sergeant Slaughter, which I'll be having him do a very special Veterans Day episode of Joe Takes 29. A lot of stuff I want to do in that episode. I want to give some shout outs, and if you enjoy G.I. Joe, check out all my Joe Takes. I'm wrapping this one up here, but like I said, next week we got Sergeant Slaughter and Joe Takes 29, and then next week we've got Snake Eyes, so that should be pretty cool. And again, at the end of the month we got Breaker. So I've got a pretty big lineup this month, and I'm going to enjoy talking about Sarge next week and Snake Eyes the week after, and Breaker the following week. So hope you tune in and you are enjoying some G.I. Joe. Let me turn this music off here. It was nice to have that in the background tonight. I don't know if I'm going to do that all the time. I'm going to have to watch this back and see how it plays out. But here's my on Joe Takes 27, which is I'll be on Joe Takes 28, which is this particular episode, and it's got all the artwork and file cards. So you take a look at those, and after this post, you can watch it, replay it, pause it, or you just go and watch the Joe Takes 28 video. Do it. But here you go. With all that being said, Logan out. How's it going? I'm Logan, the G.I. Joe Gamer, and tonight on Joe Takes number 29, we're looking at Sergeant Slaughter from the Hill. And also, we're giving a shout out to our veterans out there. Happy Veterans Day. That's what we started with here. Now, like we always do, I start out with looking at the vintage figures. So here's the Sarge from 1986. And it's a pretty decent figure, but he's really old, so I have to make sure I get a hold of his knees. Now, this is a really neat figure, and I didn't get the original mail-away Sergeant Slaughter, and there were 4 in the vintage line, and this is the only one from the vintage line that I have. Now, this particular figure came with the Triple T tape. And the Triple T was a pretty decent tank. I think G.I. Joe Berg made these tanks look really cool. So if you get a chance, watch some of their videos, especially with their Renegade series. They did a lot of stuff with that, and it was pretty cool where they do these motion play videos. Anyway, the Sarge, yeah, let's put it back in his tank here. I can do this without breaking his legs out. There you go. So yeah, he looks pretty good in his tank there. Now, there was, like I said, 2 other figures that came out in the vintage line. In 1988, they came out with basically an APC an armored transport vehicle called the Warthog. I did not get that when it came out, and nor do I have that Sergeant Slaughter figure. However, I managed to pick up a Warthog. Of course, you got to drop something. I managed to pick up a Warthog used, and it came with a lot of bits and parts. I got this for like $5 at a thrift store. And so yeah, these are very fragile. They're hard to come by, but for $5, I thought I should pass it up. I mean, it is a really cool vehicle, and as you can see, there's room for lots of figures at the back there. Plus, up here you've got I think some of these came with covers too. These other 2 spaces, but I don't have those. But this one has a cover that covers up the driver's seat. You get figures sitting down in there. If I can put this in the right spot. And now this didn't come with it. This is a missile launcher. I had an extra gun mount from my old Swamp Basher that got ran over by a car actually. So I used the gun that survived because it just popped off and went somewhere else in the mount. And it fits right in there pretty good. And then I added a gun on there that from something else, from some other line, because there was another machine gun that's supposed to come on there. And then the antenna, I tried all sorts of things to make an antenna work, but I ended up just doing an old Brent tie. They may not look great, but it serves the purpose, I suppose. But anyway, that's the Warthog. It's an awesome vehicle. I do eventually want to get a decent one. But that takes us to the classified figure in the box art. Now, This is the sergeant's box art. He's number 53 in the line. And the back just shows him, the figure and everything it comes with, which I'm going to be taking a look at here in just a second. The side of the box art here. Now, at the end of the video, naturally, like I always do, I have a little video that I'll play that has a bunch of art, file cards, and that's in there. So you'll get a better look at it if you want it. Now, the classified figure of Sergeant Slaughter was really cool. I was really excited to get this. Like he showed on the back of the box, he comes with a lot of different hands to swap out. Now, one of the hands that he came with, I ended up swapping out with my rock and roll, my classified rock and roll figure, because he didn't come with a gun hand. It's like, how can you not have rock and roll with a gun hand? He actually came with two fists, not by accident. I mean, that's just how it goes. These two, if you put them next to each other, this is a pretty good reinvention of the original. Definitely, they made it look a lot like this particular figure. Instead, not the mail away or the other ones. Now, the last one that came out in the vintage line was the Sergeant Slaughter's Marauders figure. I didn't really particularly care for the colors on that, so I never picked it up. The classified figure also came with this really cool foot locker. A lot of the newer figures come with these now. In fact, they're supposed to all come with them. What I have in here is all his accessories, and like I said, he came with all these hands. He's got another gripping wrestling hand, and he came with here's his left gun hand, so you put a gun in his hand. Came with a fist. I'm pretty sure he's got the right fist in there, but I didn't pull that one out. And I thought that was pretty cool that he comes with all these accessories. And then like he's got on the left hand there with the pointing finger, he has one for the right as well. So that's kind of neat. But then you've got he came with an AK-47, which came with the Cobra officer figure as well, which is kind of cool. They finally gave the sergeant a gun, which is neat. And it also came with a little scope. And right, let's see if we can have some fun trying to put this on the figure. But this accessory together. But there it is. Goes up to the front, and I got to make sure I'm doing it right. So there we go. Yeah, it just snaps on near the front there, and then you've got a sight, a mini scope, or you can say that's a laser range finder, so you point right at its target and fire. That's pretty cool. He also came with the baton, which the original figure came with, but I don't have mine, the vintage figure. These things were really small and easy to lose. So it has the little hook there, so you can hook it onto something, on a belt or something. But what was really cool about this Sarge is it came with its own little mini figure, and if I had the wherewithal, I could pose the Sarge holding the Sarge, but I thought that would be a little too silly, especially on this particular episode for the Veterans Day salute. Now, before I get into the character of Sergeant Slaughter, I did have a few things I wanted to go over. Now, in that first video I played, that's my Veterans Day salute. This flag was for my Uncle John, and I had his picture in that video, and he got passed away a few years back, but not in the line of duty or anything, but he ended up passing away from cancer. But we have his flag, and we like to honor him on Veterans Day if we can. And so this is my way of doing that. Now, also today, coincidentally, Veterans Day is also my sister Margaret Higgins' birthday. So happy birthday, Margaret! Thanks for being a great sister. Now, that takes us to the character of Sergeant Slaughter. I hope that was good enough tribute to the veterans and my sister. I definitely appreciate all you do. Margo, you do a lot for me and for the family, and I appreciate it. Um, Now for Sergeant Slaughter, comic book wise, he was in just a couple of comics, and that's okay. I mean, it wasn't that big a deal for Larry Hama to have Sergeant Slaughter in the comics, I guess. His few appearances were pretty cool. When he first showed up, the Joes didn't know who he was, and decided to give him an education and get rid of him. But he ended up giving them an education and taking them all down. It was kind of a cool little comic scene. Uh, as far as where he really had his strong appearances was in the cartoons, both the Sunbow animated and the animated series. He first appeared in that would be the 5th miniseries for G.I. Joe for the Sunbow series. It Arise for Mentor Arise. He showed up in that. That was pretty cool. He showed up and saved the Joes from a bunch of battle android troopers. That was a pretty good 5-part miniseries. The 2 episodes of the series that he was really cool in the Sunbow series was Ninja Holiday, where he ended up taking Wetsuit's place and getting captured and taken into for a tournament so he could become an assassin. And he found out later that he was going to be hired to assassinate Serpentor. So it was kind of funny. It was Cobra Commander's plot to get rid of Serpentor. Then you had My Brother's Keeper, which was pretty cool, an episode where he and Sci-Fi actually went to a comic book convention. And, well, it was more than comics. It was like a science fiction convention. And that's what Sci-Fi's into, so he'd actually pick Sci-Fi to go with him. That was a pretty cool little mission. But I think the one that really stands out for Sergeant Slaughter is from the Deke series, their opening mini-series, Operation Dragonfire. That's his movie. He was the leader of the Joes in that whole movie. That was when the Slaughter's Marauders came out, and so they basically was promoting the Slaughter's Marauders figures, all the vehicles and stuff that came with that, and the Sarge and everybody who was on the Slaughter's Marauders. Now, he was in maybe 1 or 2 of the Deke series, and there was one where he went and visited his sister, and it was kind of neat. But as far as the cartoon's concerned, that was pretty much it. Just had very few appearances, but when right before they brought out the Deke miniseries, he actually he hosted the TV show and did some intro clips and everything for it, and all through the whole episode. It was Sergeant Slaughter right before the Deke series, so he would actually do some of those. And I wish they would put those out on DVD or something or Blu-ray, so that we us fans could get those. Like I said, he hosted the show. It was kind of cool playing each of the episodes. I don't know how many of those he managed to get done, but I would like to see it. As far as for me, Sergeant Slaughter and his place on the Joe team, now his official rank is 7, which in the Marine Corps is a gunnery sergeant. For me, I see him as a master gunnery sergeant. So he would have been promoted when he joined the Joes. I don't know why they didn't ever promote him up to that rank, but it is what it is. We're talking about a toy line here, so that's in my head canon. He's definitely the main drill instructor for G.I. Joe. I have him on a team, and not as a team leader, but he's a squad leader, naturally. And so, as far as I'm concerned, he's got to be he's an action-orientated guy, and so he's got to be right there on the front line with his Joes. But he takes them back to headquarters, and he trains them. So he's your man. He's your go-to man. And Sergeant Slaughter, to me, my mom, Anna Hilt, she said that her and her friend used to go see wrestling live years ago before he really got famous. She had met him and said he was a perfect villain, and that's kind of stuck with me my whole life. And so I've always had some respect for the Sarge. Now, not so much when he first joined the G.I. Joe team in the cartoon. I was kind of like, wow, who's this guy? And I was already into the comic books by that point. And Snake Eyes was your toughest Joe, and speaking of Snake Eyes, so that kind of leads into that. I'll be taking a look at Snake Eyes next week, and the odd Joe takes a 30 will be up tonight, so you'll be able to check out some of what I've got coming for you on that. Now, before I sign off on this one, the Sarge for his promo video this week with all the art file cards and stuff. I actually have a clip from the cartoon series. I'm pretty sure it's at the end of the video. So if you haven't seen that yet, I'm gonna run it here at the end of the video and sign out. But Sergeant Slaughter, to me, he's a real American hero and fits on the G.I. Joe team. So with that all being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and Logan out. So let's get this video played, and I'll get this music off so we don't have to worry about that. And
All right, Cobras, it's over. Get those hands up.
Washington's a little battered. The town still looks pretty good to me.
We won a major victory today, but it's not over. Serpentor's one tough cookie, and Cobra forces will follow him to the gates of oblivion.
We'll have to keep on our toes from now on. The price of liberty is always eternal vigilance.
Yo, Joe!
Greetings, I'm Logan, the G.I. Joe Gamer, and tonight we're taking a look at one of the most popular G.I. Joe characters. Some might argue that he's the best Joe character. He's definitely most people's favorite. I'm in the minority of those who he's not my favorite character, but I understand why. He's right up there with my favorite characters. I go back and forth with as him being my number 2 with Beachhead. I really love both characters. Now, it took me a while to get to Snake Eyes, and there's a few reasons for that. At first I wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing on these Joe takes, and the second reason was I wanted to match him up with his box number, like I did with Beachhead and Lady K. If I can do that, I will, but it doesn't always work out that way. So for tonight, we're going to start like I normally do. We're going to look at some of the vintage figures, and truth be told, I only have 2 of the vintage figures. However, I do have some stand-ins that came out later. I do not have the original 82 or 83 vintage Snake Eyes, but I do have one from a comic pack. I actually have 2 like this. I had one that came with the 97 Commando set. This one's got paint on it. The original one did not have paint. I think I'm going to turn my music down just a bit. There we go. All right. So, anyway, now this character also came with a little satchel of what most people believe are explosives. It could be ammo too, but I'm going with the explosives. I do have that, but this week was kind of crazy, so I didn't get at a lot of my accessories that I don't have out. Now, the first vintage figure I do have, I actually replaced his arms because I played with him so much. I broke it all up, but I replaced it with the 1989 Snake Eyes, so it looks pretty good. And if you didn't know what you were looking at, you probably would realize that I swapped out the arms unless you're a diehard G.I. Joe fan like myself. Now, he came with a backpack and a sword, which I wasn't able to dig out this week, and another Uzi, signature Uzi for Snake Eyes. Go up. Now, he also came with Timber. My Timber has seen better days. I mean, he's lost the foot on the back, and then he lost a whole leg over here. Now, at one point, I had that leg glued on, but I don't know what happened to it. It fell off or whatever, and I didn't have a proper glue for it in any event. Now, as I said, I do not have the 89 Snake Eyes because I used it to repair the 85 Snake Eyes, which is my favorite of all the older ones. But again, I have another stand-in that came out in the early 2000s. He actually has the G.I. Joe painted on his leg. And originally, which in the pics that I have in the video at the end, you'll know that blades on his chest were painted silver on the original figure. And I should have broke out the modern figure to show you the difference, but like I said, it was a full week for me, so I didn't have a lot of time to do a lot of anything this week. But I do have the 1991 Snake Eyes, and the backpack actually fires that grapple missile. And he came with swords and a bunch of other stuff, but we don't need to get into that. Now, I do have a 94 Snake Eyes, which was the Shadow Ninjas, but the leg's broken off, and I don't consider that in enough shape to show off, so I didn't bring that out. So technically, I have three vintage figures. Well, 2, like I said originally, but I have some stand-ins. So, yes, I have the 1985, 1992, and 1991, and 1994. Now, this takes us to the classified. Now, the 89 Snake Eyes and the stand-in I have also came with these this 3-piece nunchuck, but the original was gray, so I didn't even bother breaking those out. Not an accessory I ever cared too much for. So, taking us to the classified. Now, classified, he was number 2 in the series. I do not have the deluxe. What's up, Paul in the 619? Welcome. Yeah, I love Snake Eyes too, man. Like I said, I'm just getting started talking about him. He's number 2 in the classified series. Box art is pretty cool, but if you note on the bottom of that, I don't know if you can see it there. There we go. Timber's on there, and it was like, well, where's my Timber? But I didn't actually get one of these pics. I was going to scan this. For time, right? But I do like the box art of that. Now, I also have this classified Snake Eyes. I like this one a lot, too. In fact, I don't know. I think this might be my favorite of the classified line. And he's number 52 in the series. Him and Timber. This one's just Snake Eyes and Timber, straight up. And then there's the back where you see all the accessories it came with. It came with a ton of accessories. And when I look at the number 2 figure, I got all his accessories on him, so you'll be able to see his sword and everything. And then there on the side, they got some cool artwork of him. There's that. If I can do this without knocking everything down. Now, again, like I said, the reason why I waited till Joe takes 30 is because of the Alpha Commando set, which was number 30 in the line. Now we have the standard, we have the standard back. I'll show you that in a minute. And I want to talk about the extra wolf heads. It's pretty cool. And then there's that. And I don't have the artwork for that one either in the end video, but I figured I could show them off good enough for you here. It does look good on the packaging. Too bad no window. I totally agree. I totally agree, Paul. But then, like I said, this is the generic back that they had. Now this is the later one, so it had a lot more characters, a lot cooler scenes than the original, which I can show you on the back of the original box. Slightly different. I mean, if you want, you can compare them up. If I can get it all on the screen at one time, there we go. All right. And that would be the box art for the classified series. And I like to display them in the box. So it was kind of it was a major annoyance to me when they did the box art and then with windowless packaging. And it's like, I have to say though, some of the artwork is so cool on the windowless packaging that it hasn't bothered me as much as I thought it would. And since I order most of my stuff online, it in a way doesn't really matter so much. Now, I know the argument that without the window, you can't tell whether the figure is in there. And when you order online, it doesn't matter because it shows up or it shows up. You have to send it back or keep it. But in the store, it makes a difference. You have no idea if somebody's opened that box and taken something out and put it in its place. So I get that argument there. Now, I'm going to show off the classified number 2. Yes, I did. I did get Sith Lord buying Joe figures, but that's my job. I mean, I want to spread the good word that it's Snake Eyes and G.I. Joe. And, the only thing that I didn't like about this figure is, well, 2 things, I guess. It didn't come with timber, and it did not come with a signature Uzi. It came with this and another little gun, if I remember right. It's got a pretty cool pistol. No, it's just this gun. That's right. But the sword, yeah, he comes with the iconic sword, and I am going to slide that out of the sheath and give you a better look at it. I do love the little Rashikage symbol right there on both sides of the sheath. And then you can actually peg this into the backpack. And same with the guns. They can peg on the backpack too. But I didn't bust the backpack out because it doesn't stay on very well. Those earlier classified figures, they had a hard time with that. But this is the other reason I didn't really go out of my way to get the original accessory out for the '85 Snake Eyes, is because this is the same sword basically, just with the Arashikage symbol on it, but it was too small to show the Arashikage symbol on the original, and it wasn't that big of a deal back then either. But this sword, I really enjoy, and maybe that's better. I'm going, I'm not really showing this off very well, but there we go. This sword is really cool. Now, I do have the movie figure, but I showed that off recently on my Kiko video a few weeks back during Ladies Month. So if you want to check that out, that's in that video. It's not that I didn't enjoy the movies or the figures. The figures are good. It's just I talked about them once, and for me that was enough on that one. So I'm going to move on to the next Snake Eyes. It's pretty much the same one with the Alpha Commandos, the number 52 in the series. This is not the Alpha Commandos. I mean the Snake Eyes of Timber. One of the most recent. Well, they actually have the Desert Snake Eyes that's come out recently that I don't have. This is the most recent one that I do have. Now, his pistol actually comes with a suppressor, and it slides right there in the holster, and it's really cool. And I really, both of them are like that. So, yeah, these battle stands don't always stay on the feet very well for these characters. Now, there we go. Now, what was cool was that the Alpha Commandos actually came out first, but he came with Timber. Now, Timber is really awesome. I mean, I love the fact that Snake Eyes comes with a wolf. I mean, and look at the articulation on this wolf face. Now, like I said, he came with two wolf faces, and I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to show you the other Timber here right now, so you can get a look. One's gray and one's white, and they both came with the same two faces. So I put one on each, so you get a good look at both. Now, I'll take a better look at this one in a minute, but I always display this one with the tail up and snarly. It just seems like a better fit. And if I were to display them together, I would say that they're part of the pack, because Timber ended up mating with a female wolf in the comics and having cubs. So that was kind of cool. And so Snake Eyes ended up with new wolf companions. So this would be my female, and this would be the new male, the Timber, if he did it that way. Or this is the original Timber and his female. It's kind of the way I look at it. Now, what I was talking about was the articulation. You can turn this tail all around, move it up and down. It's on a ball joint, so it's really cool. The head moves around, and it too is on a ball joint. It doesn't move very well. Neither does the neck, but it does slightly move. But these legs, right down to the paws, having swivel joints, and right on the elbow joints and everything on these. All the same with the other classified figures. On front and back, all four legs are like that. And there's a look from underneath, a look from the top, and Timber is just awesome. And it made me excited for the Mutt figure coming out, because I know that they'll do a good job on it. For me, though, it's hard not to talk about Snake Eyes, but to go back to his roots as a commando. And so for me, my favorite of the Snake Eyes, and he's the number 30, so that's why I saved it for last, because it takes 30, is the Commando Snake Eyes. Now, for some reason, I'm not getting the light on him very good right now, but there we go. So there he is. And closer to the camera so you can take a good look. He actually came with his signature Uzi, and so did the Snake Eyes and Timber. He comes with a massive knife. When you shoot there, I'm going to actually take that out. And why I say massive is because most of them have this little knife, but he's got this nice knife with just a small bit for a handle, so it goes right in the hand, and he holds it really well. But I had to display him with the Uzi. I mean, that's the original. I mean, we've got. Let me get this one out here. We got the original Uzi, and so as you can see, it's a pretty good representation. of what he originally had, only I think better. Like, but you know, it's larger, so they can do more with it. And again, he comes with a nice pistol and a suppressor. So, but a different one this time, which was kind of cool. Now this one here, which I really like, better than the first one, which I didn't think I would. I was like, oh, another Snake Eyes, you know. But this one actually is cooler, and I'm kind of looking forward to picking up the Desert Snake Eyes too. But whatever. Let me see. Paul says, never seen so much articulation on Wolf. Badass. I totally agree, sir. I'll show them off one more time. These two figures are just incredible, and I love the faces. And like I have a box right here for the other one, and you can see the gray face Starling is awesome too. But I wanted to show it with both, and I like it on the White Wolf better. And then, of course, you know, on the back of the box, you've got the nice white face instead of the Starling face. I just prefer it this way, so that's the way I got them displayed. And you can pop them off and switch them out, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. I mean, once you put them on, it stays really well. So that's not an issue. So I am going to put these back here a bit so I can have some room, because I'm about to look at you might like this, Paul. I'm about to look at a bunch of comic books. I without a doubt, in my mind, the original Marvel series of comics, no character was on a cover for the Snake Eyes. And that's my favorite cover. But there's a lot of covers that he's on. So we're going to start with issue 2. And you can see him right there in the middle in an Arctic outfit. Now, for the modern line, they actually came out with a Snake Eyes that's in a very similar outfit, only I think better. But, you know, and they did come out with a Snake Eyes in Arctic gear for the O-Ring line in a comic pack, I'm pretty sure, because they came with Quinn and Scarlet too. That was actually number 2. He wasn't on. Let me see here. Yeah, he wasn't on the original cover. I was pretty sure, but I wanted to double check while I was talking up here because I didn't want to make myself look ridiculous, which isn't hard on YouTube. But and then his second cover appearance. And now I don't have all of Snake Eyes' cover appearances, but I have a lot. So this is number 4, and he's not on the back of he's not on number 3. So the next one he was on is number 10, and I do have number 9 on the back. And this is where they introduced Springfield, the Cobra headquarters, in the comic book. And of course, you have number 9 right on the back of that. I like to keep my comics like that. When you don't have a lot of money, you have to conserve what bags of boards you have. And so I do it this way too. I don't have to buy so many bags of boards. And they stay really good that way. Got Snake Eyes right here. This was a cool little storyline with Snake Eyes, Stalker, Breaker, and Gung Ho. I love Larry Hama's stories. Of course, I'll show each one as I go here. Number 11 was the first one with all the newer characters from '83. 12, they focused on Gung Ho, but Gung Ho was in this one. He went to the Arctic with a bare chest and just his vest on. Not practical, but you know, whatever. It was a nice story. Let's see. He said, "Swag and Sith both collect the original Larry Hama run. Very cool." I agree. And yeah, I've been checking out Swag's upcoming collection of a lot of them that I'll be showing off here too. Now he's on 15, and there he is with Quinn, and Quinn's right here, the Eskimo guy, and then which is Inuit, but they didn't call him that when this came out. And then you got Dr. Venom, and Snake Eyes is he's trying to kick Snake Eyes out of the plane. Now, Quinn was kind of a neutral guy and wasn't on Venom's side, so it was Snake Eyes kind of became fast friends. But then, of course, you have the back of that, I have number 16, which is a really awesome issue. This is the Night Attack issue where the Baroness gets hurt in the Hiss tank. Very good comic. And, of course, the next one I have is this is not the original. This is from a comic pack, and I actually have two of these from comic packs. But I sold my original out of my comic book store, and I wish I'd never done that. But you know, that's life. But this is one of the most iconic Snake Eyes covers, and it's also the first appearance of Storm Shadow. Of course, that you have a 22, got the famous Destro playing with G.I. Joes in the comic too. It was kind of neat. Wasn't really playing with G.I. Joes, but he would have these little miniature figures of them. Now, I do not have issues 26 and 27 for the origin story. I have a comic version of 26. They never brought one out of number 27, but that's Snake Eyes there without a mask before he was injured, and then Snake Eyes down there with his mask. Of course, I have 25 also, but that's just a kick-ass cover with the Dragonfly and the Moccasin, and some of the coolest characters from that run of G.I. Joe. All right, let me make sure I put these in here correct so I can put them back easier. Now, of course, got to look at number 31. Destro, Firefly, and a Crimson Guardsman tried to kill Snake Eyes, and Spirit and the Airborne went and helped him out. It was pretty cool. Love this comic. I've talked about it before. All right, Paul, you take it easy. Thanks for hanging out with me. Appreciate you being here, brother. All right. You got your dreadnoughts. So, put evens on the bottom. Okay. Yeah, this really cool cover. Gun Ho, all injured, Roadblock shot. Snake Eyes even has a wound through his arm there. You got tripwire over here. Love this cover, really cool. And my only copy of issue 42, which is really jacked up, but I actually bought this newsstand when it came out, so I've had it for a long time. You know what? I remember now. My brother actually bought that newsstand, and he gave me his copy. So it was in bad shape when I got it. Okay, so there's number 46. This is the coolest cover, I think, with Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow together. It's also the first one, I think, where they were fighting together. But this scene right here is when they were going after Zartan after realizing he had killed the Hard Master. Snake Eyes never believed he killed the Hard Master, so that's why, in a lot of stories, that's why he doesn't speak. But in the comics, it's because he had a helicopter blast explode in his face when he was trying to save Scarlet. So let's go with that. Now, issue 55 was G.I. Joe Unmaskings, which really wasn't much of an unmasking. They showed Snake Eyes' face later, and I wish they had, because it wasn't as horrible as it was still bad, but it wasn't as horrible as I imagined it to be. It was. I think the imagination was better. The belief that you had in your mind of how horrible Snake Eyes' face was, than them actually showing it. Now, another really cool Snake Eyes cover with him with Scarlet. Of course, I have this one on the back, 64, 63 and 64 together. Really cool issue. I've talked about that one before. So they went to I talked about some of these in the Stalker video. They went to rescue Stalker, Snowjob, and Quick Kick from a gulag in Barovia, the invented country of Barovia, fictional, I should say. More of the space story going on. This was continued right after 65 and then 66. Of course, then you got to have your Python Patrol, and I think Larry Hama really didn't want to include it. I think I had one issue with Python Patrol and a special missions with Tiger Force. I don't think special teams was his thing. I mean, he did do a bit on Battle Force 2000, but he didn't seem to be like he was very big on it. Of course, then you've got Destro on issue 87. Now, I do have 105. I've gone through my comics before, and I've shown them off. But I'm just trying to show off Snake Eyes, the amount of covers with Snake Eyes on it, and there he is in Major Blood Sights. Really cool. This is in his 89 uniform. Awesome stuff. Now, Let me see. This was a good cover with Stalker and Storm Shadow, but of course, I showed off Snake Eyes. So, but I figured since I had him out, I might as well show him off again in this video. I love this scene where Snake Eyes drops down and basically threatens Cobra Commander, and Cobra Commander gives the order for the Night Creepers not to attack. And Stalker stood on the sidelines and just said, "You better listen to my man." There, it was awesome. Really good storylines. Larry Hama knows how to spin a yarn, as it were. And that's just a little over half of some of the Snake Eyes covers that I have. I'm missing most of the 90s where they redid his origin story and added so much more to it. But, he wasn't really much in this issue, but had him on the cover. It was kind of cool. Now, the reason why I definitely wanted to have this one out is because issue 110 was the first one where Snake Eyes took over the corner. It was Grunt mostly up to that point. Now they had a few with Cobra Commander right after issue 100, I think. But once Snake Eyes got up there, it was pretty much his book. Now, let me see here. That's some really neat ones. Ninja Force jumping into action. I think this is really before they were Ninja Force just yet. But Scarlet, Snake Eyes, and Storm Shadow and Jinx all right there. I forgot Jinx was on that cover. That's pretty cool. Cool breeze. This was an interesting issue, but not a Snake Eyes cover. Now, Destro, Search and Destroy, I had the whole saga. There's 116, but you got 117. And you got Snake Eyes back here. It's pretty cool. Definitely a lot of really cool Snake Eyes covers. And, he was on some others, but I really pulled out the ones that to me really stand out. And like I said, definitely Snake Eyes was on the most issue covers of the Marvel Comics run. And this is his 92 suit that I showed off. And he's not in this one, but it's cool. Cool comic cover with Duke, which I showed off in his video too. Let me see. All right. Then of course you have Snake Eyes by himself. Still Snake Eyes up in the corner. And of course, I think this is the only one I have where he's on both right in a row. This pretty much is where Snake Eyes took over the comic, and it was pretty much about him for quite a while. And they even, on the very next issue, named the comic G.I. Joe starring Snake Eyes. Now, they said part 1 of 4, but it lasted a little longer than that. Because then the next one, you have Scarlet and Cobra Commander. Scarlet pretty much went undercover and joined Cobra for a while. Again, not a very believable story, but it really interesting. It looks like I have 2 of those. Yep, I do. And we got 137. Like I said, once it hit this era, it was pretty much the Snake Eyes show. The Snake Eyes versus Scarlet. She was pretending to be a Cobra. Snake Eyes wasn't fooled. Still Snake Eyes. And then they started adding Ed Ninja Force. Yeah, well, they had it like Snake Eyes and Ninja Force from the beginning. But later on, it was just starring Snake Eyes. Go with him doing the Arashikage mindset. And this one says Snake Eyes, starring Snake Eyes and the Transformers, which this is 141, and then you have 142. And this opened up the pathway for Transformers Generation 2, which if I ever get a chance, I'll bust out my Transformers comics and show that Transformers Generation 2 issue 1 cover. Really nice cover. Has Optimus Prime, and it opens up, and it's one of those billfold covers. I don't know if that's what they still call it, but they called it that for a little while. Let me see here. Some of these bags get dust up in my containers, but these boards, the bags and stuff stay good still. So, but I keep everything in plastic, including them in plastic, a plastic container. The Cobra Commander got this new battle armor, and him and Snake Eyes fought it out. Naturally, it wasn't good enough. Yeah, Baroness of the Brainwave Scanner there with Billy looking on in the back. Also having been brainwave scattered, brainwashed is the best way to term that. And then they've also brainwashed Storm Shadow. And so that's kind of how they ended the line of the Marvel run with Storm Shadow brainwashed and back with Cobra. So in a lot of the hearts and minds of people, Storm Shadow will always be a Cobra. Yeah, I did my Storm Shadow video and I said my piece on that. I like this issue with the original G.I. Joe and the 30th salute to the original Joes. It's really cool. Okay, let me see here. Get down to it. Got the last issue of the series. At 155. There's Snake Eyes there in his Shadow Ninja outfit, which looks so much better in the comics. The figure didn't actually look that great. I actually have 2 of these. So, all right. That takes me back to my favorite Snake Eyes cover, and it's issue 53. Now I'm going to show you 54 real quick because that's actually Snake Eyes disguised as Flint in the comics. So it's technically a Flint cover, but it's also technically a Snake Eyes cover. Find out how you want to imagine in your head. Now there's Snake Eyes. So to me, the coolest Snake Eyes outfit with the visor. I love that. I do love the Alpha Commando set better than the other one, but I think I like the Snake Eyes that came with just the Snake Eyes and Timber set better. So that's what I got for you on the comics. I'm going to put this back up here while we continue to talk for a little bit because I want to take a look at some other stuff. Lots of Snake Eyes stuff to talk about. So many good stories in the comics. I could talk for hours just about the comic book, and I probably will eventually with all these videos. Now, I picked up on DVD The Menace of the Mass Device, which for some reason they started calling A Real American Hero and The Revenge of Cobra. Now, I remember the original miniseries when it aired. They called it The Menace of the Mass Device. First video VHS tape that came out was dubbed Menace of the Mass Device. Now, in the first one, A Menace of the Mass Device, or Real American Hero, whatever you want to call it, the first G.I. Joe miniseries, Snake Eyes had a really cool part where he saved the other Joes, Scarlet, Flash, and Snowjob from Brian Tripwire for radiation, and he ended up getting irradiated and having this encounter with a bear trying to escape with some of the crystals that they needed because they had to go get the 3 catalytic elements. You know, it's a typical G.I. Joe story, but started in Menace of the Mass Device. So on that, he ended up, that's where he found Timber. Now, I'm not sure which came first, issue 31 of G.I. Joe or the miniseries. I'm pretty sure it was the miniseries. So I'm pretty sure Snake Eyes, the origin story of how he found Timber, is actually in the animated series. They just said he had Timber in the comic book. Now, in the Revenge of Cobra, it is my opinion that he let himself get captured to protect Duke, who got captured. He was pretty much captured through the whole miniseries, movie, whatever you want to call it. And then, of course, you got Snake Eyes on the cover there with his shipwreck and their escapades in Pyramid of Darkness. You got Snake Eyes breakdancing in this movie. You got Snake Eyes dressed like Boy George in this movie. Fun Snake Eyes animated stuff. Not very realistic, but still fun. Now, he was in a lot of the Sunbow cartoon, and I have the whole series in the Joe Footlocker that I probably will eventually show off in a video. But so many episodes of the series that Snake Eyes stood out. He wasn't really the star of any of them. Jungle Trap comes to mind, where Duke, Scarlet, Rock and Roll, and Wakando are making their way through the jungle with Snake Eyes, and between Snake Eyes and Wakando, they basically keep the Joes from falling into a bunch of Cobra traps. And at the end, Rock and Roll's like trying to tell them the story of of their harrowing experience in the jungle, and I just remember what stands out in my mind is Rock and Roll saying, and then Snake Eyes took on a pack of hyenas. And he did in the cartoon. It was pretty cool. Cobra's Candidate's another one where Zap, Snake Eyes didn't speak, so other characters spoke for him. Zach said Snake Eyes picked up this Crimson Guardsman and slammed him against the wall. And Zap was like, unless you want my friend here to turn you into the world's first snake favorite president, you better tell us what we want to know, basically. Very cool. Very, very cool moment with Snake Eyes. Another cool moment with Snake Eyes in Phantom Brigade, where him and Snow Job were infiltrating the Cobra castle that they'd taken over. And all you see on the camera is Snake Eyes grabbing one and Snow Job grabbing the other Cobra trooper from behind, or AVACs. They were AVACs. And then Timber took down the AVAC. And the AVAC was all negative on the launch, Major Blood, because he was trying to get his pilot to the air. And, well, Snake Eyes, Timber, and Snow Job took care of that. The other one that really stands out to me is a Viper is coming, and I don't think I can talk enough about that particular episode. But Scarlet, Barbecue, and Snake Eyes got in the elevator and went up at the Extensive Enterprises in the tower. And there is a scene in that episode where Snake Eyes beats the crap out of Destro, and I don't know why that felt so good, but Destro got his butt kicked by Snake Eyes, but he did. Not very much in Rise from Mentor Rise or the second season. I mean, he was here or there, he made some appearances, but didn't have any major roles in season 2 or in any of the other miniseries. G.I. Joe the movie had a little bit. Hello, Cali Comics. Welcome. Just kind of wrapping up my Snake Eyes video here. Just going over some of his animated adventures. I really dig this animated movie, Spy Trips the movie. Snake Eyes played a big part of this. Him and Storm Shadow actually had their iconic fight in this. I think one of the better ones in this. And the animation wasn't great. They were really experimented with computer-generated animation in this, but it was still pretty good. The storyline was written by Larry Hama, the only one that was written by the comic book author. So it's worth a watch. We saw all the comic tropes in, as well as a lot of the cartoon tropes. I never really watched this one all the way through, Ninja Battles, but I do like it, him being on the cover. This is more of a animated comic sort of deal, and they have captions, and then they speak. They give voices to some of the characters, but they don't really move. It's not really animated per se. Let's see. Kelly Comics says, I watched the rebooted Beast Wars. I'll definitely watch it. Well, yeah, I love the new Transformers Beast Wars with the G.I. Joe at the end. That was cool, if that's what you're talking about. Hey, and crappy anime don't scare you. Sir, it doesn't scare me either. I grew up in the 70s, so that's when they really had some crappy animation. But at the time it was pretty good. I love Valor vs. Venom. That guy's had some pretty cool moments in this, especially where he was traded Kamakura as his apprentice, and Jinx was in there too. And there was a scene where Kamakura actually, he gives Kamakura this sword, and I can't off the top of my head remember the name of it. It had this really cool, it was made from a meteorite, and had a really cool name. But Kamakura couldn't pull it out of the sheath, and Jinx was laughing at him and stuff. It was pretty cool, but there was a scene where he jumped up and drew the sword out of the sheath for the first time and cut I think it was a fire bat wing in half, and it crashed the fire bat. It was a really neat animated scene. Definitely worth a watch, Valor vs. Venom. Resolute, not my favorite. Animation was fantastic. Storyline was gritty. This is definitely not for children. This is your adults version of G.I. Joe. And for that alone, I really enjoyed it. But some of the storyline, not so much. I mean, I'm more of a Snake Eyes with Scarlet kind of guy, and they had Scarlet end up with Duke in this. Basically ended the whole cartoon trope where Duke and Scarlet were a couple. But to me, it was never a thing. Even in the comics, Larry Hama was like, nope, that's Scarlet and Snake Eyes, and Duke ended up being married in the comics in the IDW series. He ended up finding his wife who'd been a prisoner for years, and he thought she was dead. Really good storyline with Duke. G.I. Joe Renegade, Snake Eyes was a big part of, and I love this single season. We had people think that we had the first writer strike recently. They had one in 2011 too, and it basically killed this series. So, very good series. And basically, how the Joes get together. It's kind of neat. Now, I'm going to take these out and show both of these off. Snake Eyes had a big part in both of these movies. Rise of Cobra. As much as people hate on it, and I love this movie. I think it's a great popcorn movie. That's what they call it. Again, you got to go into it knowing that they're going to change some story elements, and I was ready for that, and so I enjoyed it. For what it was, I was happy we got a G.I. Joe movie, and so I try not to complain about stuff like that. Retaliation, to me, was just a continuation. I mean, some of the things they did, maybe not so much, and it didn't bother me that they killed off Duke, but it was like, oh, just when I was really starting to like Duke, that's when they killed him off. But yes, well, sir, we are. I think more and more people are starting to come around to the fact that Rise of Cobra and Retaliation are good movies. People still like to complain, and they're going to do that. But I don't like to complain around here. I like to talk about the things I like. Now, that being said, I like this movie too. I don't really think it's a Snake Eyes story. They're not the Snake Eyes that we know. I look at this as a new generation Snake Eyes. And for better or worse, it was a good movie, but to me, it wasn't Snake Eyes. This was more of a Storm Shadow movie. I know they call it Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins, but to me, this was more of a Storm Shadow story than a Snake Eyes story. Yeah, they had a lot of stuff happen to Snake Eyes, but the whole deal with the Arashikage and everything in this was more about Storm Shadow. It seemed like to me they reversed their roles a lot in this, and I don't like the way they portrayed Snake Eyes as ever betraying Storm Shadow in any way, shape, or form. I do like the cameo Larry Hama does in this movie. When they're about to have that fight in that alley in Tokyo, Larry Hama just walks through the alley. They gave him a very, very long cameo. Silent, doesn't say anything. Then he just walks out of screen, and then the ninjas show up. It was really cool. So hats off to him for doing that. But that pretty much sums me up on the cartoon and the comic book. That takes me to where I see Snake Eyes in my head canon. I see him and Storm Shadow as ninja brothers. Now, brothers often fight, so depends on the mood and my idea of what the story should be at the time. And I think that's going to be true of any author when they write stories like that. It's going to be how they feel about it at the time of the moment. They may change their mind later, and that's cool. That's really why I like Larry Hama's style of writing, because he often goes from one story to another, and just when he changes his mind, he just writes it the way he wants, and I'm cool with that. Take a look at this Commando Snake Eyes one more time for the Alpha Commando set, and his constant companion of Timber. Not so constant, really. I mean, to be honest, how many stories can you do where you have a wolf traveling with you? But they manage to do it quite often. And again, I think this is my favorite Snake Eyes of the classified run. Came with the wider Timber. Now, the reason why I'm bringing them up is because I wanted to actually pair these two up, and I think that these two actually match better together. But of course, that could just be my opinion. And like I said, where he stands for in my storyline, he's a master sergeant. He's not necessarily a squad leader. He's definitely a squad team member, fire team member. I like to pair him up with Stalker a lot as their platoon sergeant. And you agree? Okay, cool, Cali Comics. And I have written a G.I. Joe storyline that we did. That guy was present, but he wasn't in my main storyline. And he wasn't in any of the episodes really. I think you can tell. He wasn't even in the last one, but he was president of the operation, but I didn't have him in any of the scenes because I kind of want to save that till I really know what I'm doing with filming and everything to make a really cool Snake Eyes story. But Operation Dungeon Siege, we did back in the summertime as part of Cobra Convergence, and then I continued my storyline in what I call G.I. Joe Gold Bricks. So you can check that out. That's my foray into play motion. Not the best, but I had a lot of fun doing it. My wife and I and my son, Red Power Ranger fan 27, he helped out, and a lot of those I did by myself too. So I was doing a little mini episode a week that lasted about 2 minutes. Pretty cool. I took a bunch of photos and then just ran them as a video with music. I did some voices, but not a lot in that. I like to do Go-Go's voice a lot, but not much voice acting to do for this fellow. Now, I know that may change now that they ended the IDW run with Snake Eyes being in a new clone body where he can speak, and he's back. But to me, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I didn't get the opportunity to pick up issue 301 just yet, or issue 300. I wanted to get both of those, but I haven't, and I would like to. I want to see where the storyline continues. So there it is in a nutshell. That's Snake Eyes. So I've got a video to play for you. So I'm going to turn off this music here, which is the music I have playing in the video. Shine by my nephew, Jay Taro, from who used to be part of the rap band Devastapas. Good music. I like their stuff. I'm not a big hip-hop guy or a rap guy myself, but I do like the stuff that Devastapas does. And it might be biased because he's my nephew, but I still like it. I hope you do too. Now, as far as Snake Eyes is concerned, I had a lot to talk about because I love this character. I know a lot of people do. And I hope you guys enjoyed my video. And anybody who watches the replay, and I thank Paul the 619 for showing up, and Cali Comics, I appreciate you being here. And whoever else is watching, definitely appreciate it. But on that note, Logan out, and I'm going to play this video. We'll see you later.
It's about damn time.
Greetings. I'm Logan, the G.I. Joe Gamer, and Joe takes number 31. And tonight we're going to be talking Breaker and the Ram cycle from the hill. Before we get into that, I didn't have any card examples of Breakers, so I had so much from the Snake Eyes video last week on Joe Takes 30 that I decided to show some of my card examples of Snake Eyes in this video. I think I have two more, but they got mixed in with my Cobras Loki. So let's just take a look at the card example from the modern line in the anniversary. Snake Eyes, the Commando. Let's get this off the screen so we can see it a little better. Note that below the bottom is a Discord link, which is also in the chat. Click on that, join the Performance Adventures, build our Adventures Guild. Now, that's the Commando. Now, for the 25th anniversary, they came out with a really cool Snake Eyes. I like that. It was an Arctic Trooper version of Snake Eyes. And this kind of goes in line with Breaker. That actually is from this cover. And you can see Breaker there with Bubblegum. And so him and Snake Eyes were on this mission together. So it was kind of cool. I wish they came out with an Arctic version of Breaker like this. But then, you got the file card. The opportunity to check that out. Now, like this was based off the original, so his grade was E5, but this one says E7. But that was kind of interesting. Now, they also came out with one of these with Timber for the 25th anniversary line, and I really like this figure. It's a pretty good one. And again, we got the file card back there. I got this when it really first came out with the 25th anniversary line, and I was able to buy one in and out of the package. Now, they also came out with a retro version of Snake Eyes, and for the Walmart exclusive just a couple of years ago. But their file card again, that's just one of those with the multi-language. It's okay, it does the job, sort of. Let's see if I can get these out of the way now. Set them down here. All right, now we're talking about Breaker tonight, and they're both Snake Eyes and Breaker are both on the original 13. We're going to start with, like I said, I don't have a vintage example of Breaker, but I have a stand-in in the Valor vs. Venom line, I think, shortly thereafter. They had a comic pack with Breaker that came out. Now, this looks like a very generic soldier. Came with an M16 on the radio. And this could be Grunt. This could be anybody. Didn't have the beard or the stubble even. It was the first Breaker I ever was able to acquire. But when the 25th anniversary line came out, I was able to pick up Breaker, which was nice. Now, I do have a vintage Ram, but it's in really, really bad shape. And this is how I acquired it. A friend of mine just gave this to me. And I really like this motorcycle. I like it better than the Silver Mirage. I like it better than almost any motorcycle they came out with afterwards. Well, in the 25th anniversary line, Breaker that came out, was pretty cool and resembled more the original Breaker. And it even came with a little chewing gum bubble that you could close on him. I never saw that by the package I bought, so I didn't even know it came with that until years later. Now, so that's not there. He in the 25th anniversary line, he came out with an updated Ram cycle. And this particular Ram, I thought was even so much better than the original. I mean, I don't even know if the original one spun around like this. This is 11 back here, but this one does. And I'm missing the little gas cans that attach to the back. But this one, it was nice to get an updated version. And the handlebars on this bike are awesome. You better look at it. And they actually turn with the wheel, which I thought was a very nice touch. Now, like I said, that came with breaker in the 25th anniversary line. I think I set with Serpentor and the Air Chariot, if I remember correctly. I might not. I'm pretty sure. Now, those are the 3 3/4 inch ones that I have. And so that would take us to the classified. Now, classified came with this big old nice box for Cobra Island. He was 29 in the series. And I was going to do him as Joe Takes 29, but that fell on Veterans Day. And I wanted to do something special on Veterans Day, so that's why I did my Sergeant Slaughter video then, which was pretty cool. I had a lot of fun doing that one. And there's the artwork on the box at the end of this live video. I will have play on Joe Takes 31, and I do have a lot of the artwork in there. Now, I probably should have scanned this myself. I found one online, and it didn't turn out very well. I wish I would have did this one right here. I wish I had a proper scan of this, because it was really blurry, but I really did have a lot of time when I was making Joe Takes 31. So we ended up now. There is a second Ram cycle in the classified series, and I've already looked at it on the Duke video, but we'll take another look at the artwork here. And this is not included in the end, but the Ram cycle, I really like the Ram. And there's the back of it. It came with Duke, but Duke had his day in the sun, so I'm not going to show him off. He's still in the box there. But that takes us to Breaker of the Ram. So here we go. Let's take a look. Now, Breaker was on the original box art of the Ram cycle. This one here, that was sold separately by itself. This classified update, I think, is even better than the 25th anniversary update. Of course, larger, better. And we get Breaker off of here so we can take a better look at Breaker separately. And I'm not even going to try to put it back on there in this video. And just put it away later on tonight. Or this morning. It's already midnight, so when I started this. All right, so let's straighten it out here. Sometimes these classified figures have a hard time going back in a position. I want to put them out straight, but this Breaker figure did not come with a weapon other than what comes with the Ram, and I'll be taking a good look at that here in a minute. Now, his helmet does come off, and he's got a really good face sculpt. Looks a lot like the Breaker on the cartoon, and I really like this face sculpt. He's got his flak jacket there, so that when he's riding the Ram, he has a little bit of protection. Very well detailed and very, very good update, and tried to do an homage like this one did to the original Breaker. Really liked it, enjoyed it. Now, let's take a look at his head here. It comes with a nice little visor. And the visor actually has I don't know if you can see it, like a blue-green sheen to it, awful green maybe. And it's got the microphone there. And I thought this was a pretty cool update to the microphone, the headset, and the backpack attachment. And kind of just put it all in the helmet. And I thought that was a pretty cool idea. So we've got all these communication gear right there where he needs it. And it's back on his head. And there's Breaker. it was a decent figure. Like I said, I thought it was a pretty nice homage to the original Breaker. It was one of the original 13 Joes. Get down here real nice and light. Now, what I like to do here, and this is going to be a little difficult, because I'm going to hold these two up, and then I'm going to grab this one, and I'm going to have them all on screen at the same time. Not the best. If I had a turntable or something, that might be nice, but I don't have my studio set up, so this is what we get. And so we got all 3 RAM cycles on screen at the same time. And I'm also going to do that with the Tiger Force RAM. I'll have them both up. There's no way I'm going to do all 4 at once. Probably maybe like this. Nope. These are just really big. Now, I do like this right here, the handlebars and the gauges on the handlebars for speed and fuel. And I'm going to take a really good look at the sidecar here. But this was pretty cool. I like showing it off again. I don't have any qualms about doing that. Now, I'm not so sure about the red color on it. I think they could have done a lot better with black, actually, like they had on here. I don't know why they changed that for that particular one. I know it's supposed to be Tiger Force colors and all, but black kind of works in most situations. Now, this motorcycle, I just really love it. It's solid, sturdy. It's not hollow like it might look. Now, so I can take the sidecar, and I'm going to leave that part on there. This part just comes off really easy, and gives you the Gatling gun. This one came with heavy artillery roadblock too, and I took a look at him a few weeks ago, beginning of November here, and so you can actually put this in Breaker's hands and have him wield the Gatling gun as a handheld weapon. I mean, it's kind of crazy. And he's no Roadblock. I really don't think this particular character could actually wield this Gatling gun. It's not really realistic that Roadblock can, but he's Roadblock, so there you go. But Breaker, it's cool that they gave him this gun, and it made it so that we could have the same gun for Roadblock. I wish they'd have given Roadblock for the heavy artillery Roadblock. Wish they'd given him the Mod Deuce, 50 caliber. Don't know why they didn't, but it really worked out good for the Ram cycle because you can use the gun as a handheld weapon, and it does spin around in there too, but not for the back like this modern one, the 25th anniversary one. You can actually spin it from the back, and I thought that was pretty cool. So I love motorcycles. I had an issue with motorcycles when I was younger, where I was told I'll just go ahead and let go of the clutch, and never had any of the controls explained to me, and went flying through a ditch and pretty much wrecked the bike. But my friend who let me ride his bike, he insisted too, and I was like, I don't want to do this. But he insisted that I give it a try, and he was going to teach me how to ride. But after that day, he gave up on that. This is a really good example, and a really nice update for the original vintage Ram. I wish I had the sidecar for this. I wish I had a nicer version for this. I don't at the moment. Now see on the modern, on the back, it has a clear light. I don't know if you can see that very well. On the back, right here. And on the original, they just had like a red sticker, red paint on the end of that. I'm pretty sure it was a sticker. They didn't do a lot of paint applications back then. And then the modern one has a red brake light. It's pretty cool. Definitely love the wheels. I wish they would make more motorcycles from the Dreadnoughts from the classified line. That would be so sweet. I don't know if we're going to get that, but there's my comparison of classified Ram and the vintage Ram and the modern 25th anniversary Ram. That takes us to his appearances on the cartoon. Now he was in the Mass Device, the first G.I. Joe miniseries, and Revenge of Cobra, and he had various parts all throughout that. And both of them ended with him saying nobody's perfect. So Breaker had some pretty cool lines. Let's play Commando, man. So from the TV series, he was in it sporadically. He was in it quite often, but not as a main character. Because for some reason, thought that the communication officer was a boring job, I guess. MOS, military occupational specialty. But I never saw it that way. You need a communication officer in the field to call in an airstrike, and he's got to know the coordinates exactly where. Plus, he can keep you linked to command. When all else fails, if you don't have a communication officer and your comms go down, you're kind of in a bad place. And so I always understood why Breaker was included as one of the original 13 shows. Now, a lot of people don't. I don't know what. I meant to turn that off. But I think what I'm going to do is turn my music down just a little bit while I go into a little bit more detail here. Maybe it was a little too loud. But that's okay. All right, so we cover the figures and we're talking cartoon a little bit. There were a few episodes where he was in it, but like I said, never prominently. I do remember. Let me see Flint's Vacation. There's a memorable scene where him and Bazooka broke into this communication setup that Cobra had, and they were basically brainwashing a town with it, and they were using subliminal suggestions, and Breaker and Bazooka broke in with a picture of Cobra Commander on a dartboard, and Breaker's line was, "Ignore Cobra Commander, he's a jerk." So, yeah, Breaker had some decent lines. I really like the character. He's not my top 20 even, I don't think, but he's of the original. I like him a lot. He had personality. Always hung out with Clutch and Rock and Roll, and I really like both of those characters. That takes us to the comic now. He was in G.I. Joe #1, but he wasn't on the cover. A lot of the Joes were, but not all of them. He was one of the few that wasn't. Again, like I said, I showed you this cover already. There he is back there blowing a bubble. That was kind of his thing. Here's G.I. Joe #1. But, got Clutch back there, Steeler, Hawk, Flash, Stalker, and Scarlet. See, Snake Eyes wasn't even on the first one. Then you got Grunt over here, the converter. So technically they had seven Joes on the original out of 13. So that's a little more than half. So that's not too bad. The deal. Now, I want to get to this one. That's my favorite cover with Breaker on it, even though you can't really see him very well in it. There's not a lot of covers with Breaker where you can see him really well. Now, the one that you can, unfortunately, is G.I. Joe 109. And you can see Breaker down here with his comm gear. Now, you don't really see him really good, but this is the issue where Breaker got killed. And he was blown up on a ranged tank. He was on a ranged tank and it got blown up. And it was Larry Hama, well written. Larry Hama is, I'll plug him every time. I'll say how great of an author he is and how much he's inspired me in my life to write. First, the one after. You got the Saw Viper, who killed Doc and a few of the others. Now, before I get into this was part of a two-parter This was the first half, the first appearance of the October Guard, and it was really cool. And although I like this cover better, my favorite Breaker story happened in the issue before, where him, Clutch, and Steeler, I'm pretty sure it was Clutch, were in a parade. And for me, this is one of the most memorable Breaker stories, and I'm going to take it out, take a look at it here. So we have it's Clutch, Breaker, and Steeler. And Scarlet's there talking to them before they head off to the parade, where they go with General Flag and just kind of are at this parade. And Cobra has decided to attack this parade for whatever reason. And it's a parade, so it's the tank is unarmed, but naturally Cobra's weapons aren't. And so they basically just used the tank as a battering ram for the most part, and managed to stop Cobra, but they managed to stop Cobra because of something Breaker did, and this is one of my very favorite moments in comics, and let me see if I can find scene where. Here we go. Tank's coming up, and they're like, that tank isn't armed. And they're about ready to blow it up with the cannon, and then they hear a blam, and as it turns out, there was no ammo in the tank. And what they had done was Breaker had gone over the loudspeaker and actually popped the bubble on his gun. And I know there's a scene here where they talk about that. Yeah, there he is blowing his bubble gun. I love these old comics. Some really good stuff. There he is down there with a quarter blowing his bubble gum. Now, I know Breaker, or on the vintage figure, had a beard. A lot of times in the comics, he was clean shaven. In G.I. Joe #1, they had a file or dossier or bio of him. And they had him listed as a E3, which is a private first class. But the file card, which I have one in the video here at the end, his file card listed him as an E4, and then later on he got promoted, and I have a file card on him as an E5. So that's where we are with the comics and the cartoon. Now, for me, Breaker is their primary communication officer. I mean, I do have a dial tone figure in the vintage line, but I did use him a bit, but he just wasn't my communication officer ever, even in my headcanon. I used dial tone, but he was more of a field operative. Breaker, not so much a field operative, but definitely taking care of all the comms for all of G.I. Joe. I had Breaker set up their satellite communications and everything in my headcanon. And I really, really thought Breaker was a pivotal character to the G.I. Joe team. As far as rank is concerned, he really doesn't, he's not an authority figure of any sort. Like I said, he got promoted to E5, which made him a sergeant, later on. And then in the mid-20s of the G.I. Joe series. So about a year and a half after he came out, he was promoted to sergeant, maybe a little longer, where all the original Joes got promoted by one pay grade. So at that point, he was definitely a sergeant throughout the rest of the comics. Didn't make a lot of other appearances in the comics, like I said. But for me, nothing happens without Breaker. I mean, if Breaker's not there, you got Mainframe or Dial Tone who come in and kind of help out and take his place. But you have to have Dial Tone and Mainframe to do what Breaker can do. Now, Mainframe is the premier computers guy. Dial Tone actually is probably better at building communication gear and a ham radio and all that stuff that he knows how to work with, like all the electronic stuff. But Breaker kind of does it all. It's kind of your multi-talented communication specialist, and that's what I really liked about Breaker. And I as a team member, he's not on one of my fire teams, but he is right there with the command structure, and everything is done through Breaker. So, basically, headquarters is his baby. He keeps everything going and keeps everybody in communication, and keeps them so that they're not in the dark so much. And it happens where you lose comms, but generally Breaker will be the one to get it right back. Now, he does do good work in the field too, as with GI Joe #2, field operative, and he was on several missions. But like I said, never really a frontline guy. And originally he didn't come with a gun. Didn't bother me any. The comic pack that I got, he came with an M16, standard soldier's weapon. The modern figure came with 2 pistols. Actually, it was kind of interesting. He's got one. Oh, he's got a sidearm. That out of the way. But yeah, he has a sidearm there. And then he has a pistol here in this holster over here instead of a knife. And I see that all soldiers should carry a sidearm and a combat knife. Breaker didn't come with a knife there. Now on this one, he has a knife, and I think on the original one too, he has a knife like right there, but it doesn't come off. Classified figure doesn't come with a knife either, but I like some of the paint applications on these motorcycles. Like the Tiger Force Ram had the silver, and the regular Ram, it's kind of a grayish black. Really, really cool vehicle. I'm glad they put it out. It basically, I know the Bears was the first one. She came out with the coil cycle, and it just paved the way for the Ram. And I think they did a really good job with updating the Ram and bringing it out. And Breaker, cool character. I'm glad, I'll be able to sit here and talk about him. And that pretty much takes us to what's coming up next week. So that's my take on Breaker. Next week and all of next month, we're doing Cobra Troop Builders. So I'm going to have some fun with that. And next week, we're starting with Alley Viper. And I have a few, not like following week where we're going to take a look at Vipers, but I have quite a few Vipers. So we'll take a look at those, and that'll be next week and the week after. And we're going to end the year with one more, because we're only going to have 3 Joe takes in December, because after Christmas time, we're going to take a couple of weeks off for doing Joe takes and a lot of other videos. But we're going to have our Fridays show going on. But as far as Joe takes is concerned, over the next 3 weeks, we're going to have Joe takes, but then we won't have another one until after the first of the year, of the new year. So that's where we're at with Breaker from the Hilt. I hope you enjoyed my take on Breaker. And now I'm going to show you that on Joe Takes 31 video. And let me get this music off so it's out of the way. Naturally, that's right when I get a notification. So thanks for watching, and hope you like Breaker. And here you go.
Bravo Team 3. Acknowledge Sierra Whiskey.
Go get 'em, Breaker!
Mainframe has uploaded the coordinates onto the Little Orca's Navcom Bravo 2-1. That sector is the only remaining active fire zone, so happy hunting. Affirmative, Breaker. Blackjack out.
Well, let me fix this over on YouTube and turn this off before it starts doing some other stuff. And stop it. Guess that's the fastest way. Hope you guys enjoyed those 4 videos. Like I said, I'm gonna take a look at this desert snake eyes real quick. As much as I was looking at it, going, man, this is pretty much a remake of the snake eyes that came out with the white timber, but he's got some cool weapons, and he came with that signature Uzi. So you got the silencer that'll go on the sidearm or the Uzi. That's pretty cool. He's got that knife. And then he comes with 2 swords. So that he's not bad. It's a pretty cool little figure, but I just don't see the need for a desert snake eyes. Now, granted, he's desert trained, but I would have rather seen the Arctic snake eyes first, since they never had a desert snake eyes in the vintage line. It's kind of cool, but there it is. Let me see. We got great stuff from the hill. Thank you, bud. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much for joining me. He's back. Yes, I am back live. Yes. Cheers, Victor. Yes, thanks for being here, Victor. I appreciate you, bro. Like I said, I promised to show this to you guys, so I did real quick. Maybe I'll take a better look at it in a different Joe take if I do another an update on. I haven't done any updates on Joe's yet. I generally don't have to because I usually do a pretty thorough job, but I might do like a desert themed Joe takes, especially if they bring out the desert flint, which the Halo Jumper flint, the paratrooper, which was a very cool vintage flint figure, which I loved. It was in the last year of the vintage line, but it was really cool. So maybe if they bring out some more desert figures, I'll do like a desert themed Joe takes, because I have a back there, right there, the 60th anniversary infantry figure. He's decked out in desert camo. So technically, right now with Dusty, I have three desert figures. So yeah, if I get one more, then I'll do that. But there it is. Those are my takes on Roadblock, Sergeant Slaughter, Snake Eyes, and Breaker, and the Ram. And I appreciate you guys joining me for that. This month on Joe Takes, not this coming Saturday, but the following Saturday will be episode 51. And I'll be taking a look at Low Light. And we're going to be starting at a new time, but still on Saturday, but at 6 p.m. I'll be doing that right on the 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So I'll be doing that right before I go on for Spine Ticks at, for me, it'll be 9 o'clock, but Pacific Standard Time will be 8 o'clock. So check us out, Spine Ticks Live, this Saturday and the following Saturday. I'm pretty sure I have a link in the description to Spine Ticks Live. But like I said, that's for Saturday. So hopefully you join me for that. And then the following Sunday, right after I I take on Low Light, I will also be taking a short takes look at the Flash figure. I actually don't have a vintage Flash, but I do have the modern one, and I have them carded, and I do have a 3/4 inch Flash that I'm going to show off, but it's nothing like the vintage Flash. Let me see here. Thanks for getting me through Friday. I have a note at work. See you next time, bro. Thank you, Ronnie. I appreciate you being here. And like I said, I do these Joe takes on Thursday nights, every other Thursday. Oh, let's see, once a month on Thursday. Generally the third Thursday of the month, I do a Joe take, and I'm sticking with the Thursday slot because that seems to work the best. And I like doing it a little later. And maybe that means I can catch you, Ronnie. But yet it's earlier than the midnight time slot I used to do, which was crazy for me because I wasn't getting the proper sleep I needed. But we're doing that now, and I think I've got things locked down and on a decent schedule. And I know when you guys like to hang out, so Thursday nights is a good way to go. So on that note, I'm looking forward to doing Joe Takes 51 this month with Low Light and the short takes. I think that's episode 6, actually, 5 or 6 for the short takes. And it'll be the third Joe in the series because I've taken a look at 2. Yeah, so I think it is the 5th one. So yeah, there it is in a nutshell. Actually, no, that it'll be the 6th one because Dodger was the first one I did. Airtight was the 2nd. That's right. So it'll be the 3rd Joe. We did Wild Weasel and then Overlord in that series. So check those out if you want. And those are just fun little lives where I just went on vertical and just talked about those figures because they don't have a classified figure for it. So, and I'm wondering why they don't have a classified figure for Flash yet, because everybody seemed to like Flash. It wasn't necessarily my favorite. I like Sci-Fi better as the Laser Trooper, but I'll take a look. I'll probably look at Sci-Fi as well, and Red. Man, I always there was a 3rd one that came out in the 2000s, and I'll probably take a look at him too. And I never can remember his name. It's Red something, so I should remember Red Dot or Red Shot or something like that, or Red Heat. And so I'm probably completely wrong off all of those guesses. But yeah, I'll be taking a look at Flash and the Laser Troopers. That gives me an idea to look at stuff. But I do have quite a few things to look at for Flash, so that should be fun. And on that note, I guess I'm just gonna say Logan out, and I will play you a song because I really love this song, and I always like to share it. So here is G.I. Joe versus Cobra. It's up to you. Logan out.
The ultimate red versus blue, but it sure isn't anything new. Cobra broke out onto the scene. G.I. Joe reported for duty unseen. Yo, Joe is the Joe's battle cry. Red is their choice of lasers to fry. Pulling up in the APC. Smoking down all enemies they can see. Cobra, they yell and shout. Blue is the gleam in their beams, laying waste with their his tanks, cutting right through our dreams. Suicide, Yo, Joe, Cobra, red or blue, it's up to you. Cobra is out there slithering around in the dark, but G.I. Joe is there. The show Cobra may have the spark. It's a sign. Yo, Joe, it's up to you.
I think you might need an exit strategy.